I'm Johnny Millennium, and this is Victor Lucas, and this is Film Fury. And today it's very cold in Vancouver.
Yep.
It could almost be snowing, but it was snowing in our movie theater when we went to see Murder on the Orient Express, based on the novel by Agatha Christie, a classic novel.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of movies over the years. What did you think?
I thought it was amazing. I think that Kenneth Branagh was the right choice to play Hercule Poirot, the famous detective.
You pronounced it so perfectly. I knew I was going to screw that up.
I've been practicing a little bit. And he directs this thing, and he stars in it, and he leads an all-star cast with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz and Dame Judi Dench and Michelle Pfeiffer, my beloved Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Yeah, it's crazy.
Willem Dafoe and Josh Gad, and all the actors look like they're having a ton of fun with this. You're right, though. It is very well-trodden material. Did you feel like it was modernized enough? Did you get enough out of it for like going to a movie in 2017?
Well, it's interesting. I was really looking forward to this movie.
Yep.
I responded to the people who said, "Hey, do you want to see a press screening of this?" I was like, "Yes, right away." And I wanted to see something.
That freaked me out too. I wasn't expecting that. You're like, "Yes, I want to go." I was like, John really is excited about this.
This reminds me of all the old murder mystery movies I saw as a kid, and I'm sure that you saw as a kid.
I'm a big detective fan,
Me
man.
too.
I read the Hardy Boys and Encyclopedia Brown, and I read some of the Agatha Christie stuff. I can't remember any of these things now.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But I love detectives. I used to listen to radio dramas, and Hercule Poirot is just such a quirky bird. He's kind of like the other side of the coin of Sherlock Holmes. You know, he's one of these guys that knows a little bit about everything.
But he is the greatest detective on the planet, and he tells everybody that in this movie. And it's a lot of fun, his character.
Yeah.
He's really good, except for his mustache.
Yeah.
You know, it looks a little bit fake, and, you know, obviously he's wearing a lot of makeup,
Yeah.
and he was blown up on the screen, and you're going, "Oh my God, look at that guy's makeup."
Well, it was just one scene, let's be fair.
Yeah.
Like, for most of the movie, everything is pretty seamless and perfect, just like Hercule Poirot wants it.
Yes.
Guy measures his eggs in there. He has to have his eggs being at the perfect height. But yeah, there was this one scene where he's grilling Daisy Ridley's character, and they're out in the snow, and it's bright white light, and it's on his face, and he's got like this orange smear, except for his brow hairline.
I know.
And so he looks like a creamsicle, and I couldn't help. You know, I've worn some makeup in my day as a guy that's been on TV, so I noticed that stuff.
I know that I started noticing all the time. And I started noticing his mustache was like, pitted on a little bit. It wasn't like perfectly done. I was like, no, that's not real. But I did love his mustache. It was amazing.
Well,
best mustache ever.
It adds to the character, right?
It really does.
That's the thing. Like, there's so many beautiful little details. Most of the movie takes place on the Orient Express, this famous train line that basically crosses a continent, and we are just sort of inside with some ne'er-do-wells and everybody's kind of under suspicion. There's a murder that happens, and you
really
don't know
early
who
on in the movie,
you don't know who it is, who did it, and you know, Poirot is kind of pulled into this investigation kind of against his will, but you know, there's just so many great little details all the way through.
And this movie starts and has some beautiful cinematography.
Yes.
We have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. And when the train takes off, it looks like something out of Titanic. All the kids are waving at it, and the beautiful CG in the background.
It is CG, but it's still, you can't take away. It's beautifully painted on screen.
It's
right?
beautiful. So the cinematography, all that is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And then it takes off, and then we're introduced to all these different characters, and I loved all the introductions of them. I loved all these famous actors. Johnny Depp, you know, this hard-boiled.
Johnny Depp was awesome in
He
this.
was just, for so little that he did. He said he did so much.
Yeah, he was really, really fun to watch.
Michelle Pfeiffer was great. Daisy Ridley was great.
Yes.
But, you know, so we do all this investigation, and I really enjoyed the investigation parts. And then,
which we won't spoil.
We won't spoil, obviously not. And then we get to the ending, and a man or a woman did this crime.
Yeah.
And the movie ended, and I was just like, oh, okay, that was it. And it just felt very flat to me, and you know,
a little too pat,
a little too easy, and it was just like, oh, it's done, it's kind of over.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was expecting. It is a murder mystery, and we get to the conclusion,
and it's much more cerebral, and there's a lot of expository.
There's a little bit of coolness in the end.
Yeah.
A lot of things that the detective has to take with him.
Yeah.
About this investigation.
Because there's this emotional wallop, this punch that you're not really sort of prepared for, because it is so much about intelligence and you know, deciphering the clues with your mind, and then at the end there's this heart punch that you're just not expecting. And I actually got, you know, I got some value out of that.
Yeah, I got a little bit of value.
Yeah, but
you know,
you're right. I mean, it doesn't have maybe that, I don't know, that huge crescendo that we, maybe
got used to.
We're getting conditioned to having that in every movie.
There was no big Thor battle at the end, and I wasn't expecting that, nor did I want that.
Or Sherlock Holmes, like the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies. At least the first one was terrific, but it also plays like an action movie. You know,
it's really weird to see, because I have not read the original novel. I saw bits and pieces of the old movies back in the day, so I didn't know what the ending was going to be.
Right.
And I got to it, and I was like, okay. And I appreciate it, but it wasn't fulfilling enough for me. And
right.
I like the journey. I guess I didn't like the destination.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it has some pretty powerful things to say about the ripple effects of violence and how one act of violence can mean so much to so many people. And I thought that was pretty profound and kind of topical, especially in this day and age when violence is sort of projected at us so often every time we turn on the news. But yeah, it felt a little perfect, right? And it almost could have been a little bit more ambiguous and messy at the end.
Yeah. And also we were talking about it just after the film is that I think the thing that bothered me in this movie, though, there was so much stuff going on with the detective story and trying to figure out who did it and all that I at times didn't feel that I was really with what was going on. I wasn't given all the information.
Right.
So I wanted to be the detective in this, and I wasn't the detective in this. I was a bystander waiting for them to give me the information, and then when it got to the end, I was like, I didn't even see this coming because I couldn't even figure it out.
You couldn't leap with the sort of frame of mind of Poirot.
Going, oh wait, that was with that. That links to that.
Which I totally get your point, and that's a great comment, and it is kind of a dirty trick that people that make detective stories like this can pull on us.
Yeah.
The detective is just way smarter by leaps and bounds by anything that we can do. I think though that they justified that in the case of this guy that just can't help but solve puzzles in spite of himself, right?
And that was the fun of it, was watching him solve the puzzle.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, John, you can't understand everything. You can't solve the crime. Watch him solve the crime.
Just enjoy the ride.
And then it was just like, it was over. And I was like, oh, I wanted to be a little bit more involved, I think, in the detective story. I think that for sure,
Yeah, and there are strings at the end of this movie, too, that may allude to more. So we'll see how this does.
And I would love to see more with this detective.
Me too.
I loved him so much.
Branagh is awesome in this role, and I really like this movie, and I liked it because it's so fresh and in contrast to the stuff. Not that we're having a bad time. We've been reviewing a lot of good movies this year, but this was just really fun.
It's
I really
different.
liked it.
It was more of an homage to the older days of cinema, and I'd like to see more films like this for sure.
And also, that era is just so beautiful on screen. It
is.
Yeah, really, really nice stuff. And Branagh is
what a talented guy for being in it, the main star, and directing it. That's a hard thing to pull off.
Right from the beginning of his career, he's been doing that kind of stuff. The
Very
guy
talented
is
guy.
incredibly talented. Yeah. What are you going to give Murder on the Orient Express?
I enjoyed it, but not that much. I'd have to give it a 7.5.
I liked it, I think, a little more than you. 8.5 from me.